Things can change quickly around the NHL, but when it comes to some of the reporting going around the past few hours here, it seems like the options that we have at our disposal may be a little bit wider than we had thought. Today we're heading over to the New Jersey Devils and talking about one of the guys that they still need to re-sign, one of the guys who played a pretty stable role, I'd say, in the top 6 this previous year, and somebody who ended up not really utilizing that all too much last season. It's Dawson Mercer, who is recently coming off of his entry-level contract. Now, Mercer, 22 years old, 6 feet 181, right-handed. It says here on Elite Prospects he is a center, so we'll just roll with that for now. He is, at the time of recording this audio, unsigned, and he's coming off a season where he did decline point production-wise from the 2 seasons he had had prior. Mercer had 42 points in 82 games in his rookie year, 56 points in 82 games last year, including 7 points in 12 games in the playoffs. Then this previous season, he declined to a 33-point marker in 82 games played. He had 20 goals, 13 assists, was a minus 26, and it was good that he got goals still. I mean, 20 goals in 82 games is not bad, but his assists definitely dwindled down, and it was kind of frustrating to see that out of him because throughout the year, as we had said, he was mostly playing in the top 6. He had a right wing spot on the second line with Timo Meier for a little bit, and then also he was playing on the first line with Nico Hischier. Of course, the Devils forward core kind of moved around a little bit with a few pieces. Tyler Toffoli got sent away. Michael McLeod was there for half the season, but then was removed because of course he was. So for Dawson Mercer, he was kind of in a pretty big blender of guys throughout the season, but he didn't really impress all too much. So thinking about the contract that he's got, okay, yeah, he needs to sign it. He's on his ELC, that expired, now what's next? Here's a report from David Pagnotta from earlier this morning that goes out there and talks about how, with camp underway in New Jersey, the Devils continue to have contract talks with RFA Dawson Mercer's camp. As of this minute, I'm told there is no deal yet. And there's a lot of people going out there in the comments and replies of this saying that, oh yeah, like, what a great report. Love your nothing updates, Dave. Keep up the no work. However, because Mercer remains unsigned, it opens the door to another conversation that I wanted to bring up from the folks over on BPM Sports Talk Radio. Take a look at this video clip from earlier last week. Leadership in F1 is super important. This is Martin Leclerc going out there and talking about it on the radio show. It's an 18-minute long clip. And one of the quotes that he's got from this video goes out there and talks about how teams are, apparently, inquiring about making an offer sheet for Dawson Mercer. The scoop from Martin Leclerc reads this: I know from reliable sources that a few teams are exploring this option and are closely monitoring the situation at the moment. Now, that doesn't really go out there and tell us much, but it does imply that there are a lot of folks going out there and thinking about offer sheeting Mercer in the same way Broberg and Holloway were offer sheeted a few weeks ago. And it really got me thinking, okay, what exactly is the price tag for Mercer here? Broberg and Holloway got pretty beefy deals, and if you wanted to say that sets the market for what a Mercer could get, you kind of got to think about it. Okay, so Philip Broberg got $4.5 million a year, and the reason he got 4.5 is because that was the maximum amount of money that the Blues could have offered to Broberg without having to go over a second-round pick as compensation. They were able to take advantage of the fact that the Oilers could not really commit that kind of money to Broberg. We had seen the comments made by Stan Bowman afterwards saying that both of the guys, Broberg and Holloway, were overpaid because of those offer sheets. So it wasn't really an issue of trying to get Broberg to the highest dollar amount possible. It was just trying to get Broberg to the highest dollar amount that the Oilers would not be able to match. And that is exactly what ended up happening. When it comes to the New Jersey Devils, though, they have about $4.98 million in cap space at the time of recording this audio, and if you wanted to say you would need to do something similar to get a guy like Mercer onto your team, I'm thinking you would have to go into that first-round pick compensation territory in order for something like this to actually work. You would need to see the Mercer camp be able to sign it, firstly, and then you would need to see the Devils not be able to match. If you go over to the chart, this is what it looks like here. you would go 4.5 to 6.8 million bucks. That is the first round pick and third round pick compensation for the offer sheets. There isn't really a tier where it's like just a first round pick is compensation. It goes from none to third to second to first and third. First and third together. So if a team wanted to offer sheet Dawson Mercer, if they go 4.5 million and Mercer accepts, the Devils are not able to match it for whatever reason, which they shouldn't do that. They could match a $4.5 million offer sheet. If that's the dollar amount, then okay, it's a second round pick in compensation. The Devils probably would be okay with matching that, especially since they wouldn't want to lose out on a guy like Mercer for only a second. However, if you go up to the $4.5 to $6.8 million tier, a first and the third, then you're kind of thinking, okay, if the Devils don't re-sign Mercer, they don't bring him back, maybe it's not the biggest casualty in the world because they're getting a first and a third back, and the dollar amount would probably be high enough to the point where they wouldn't really be able to match it anyway. So there are options here, I'd say, for other teams. It's just if you wanted to go 5, 5.5, 6.8, the max you could give a guy like Mercer without going over the first and the third round pick compensation, you gotta ask, is Dawson Mercer really worth that? And honestly, from the play that we have seen recently, he's not. Maybe if you had asked that question a year ago, when he was coming off a 56-point campaign at only 21 years old, maybe at that point it's like, yeah, this guy's worth a lot of money. But this previous season, he definitely declined, and I think a lot of people are looking to see what he's able to do bouncing back next season. If anything, I think other NHL teams might be thinking the same thing. Hey, this guy's on a down year. Is it worth it to offer sheet him now at this point? He is declining. I mean, he is 22 years old, right? He'll be 23 once the season begins and gets underway. So there's a lot of room here, a lot of time for the 2020 first round pick to become something. But with the uncertainty, it does become interesting when you think about the offer sheet possibility, as Martin Leclerc of BPM Sports says there is. So if you're a fan of the New Jersey Devils, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. How do you feel about the idea of Dawson Mercer getting offer sheeted? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's really a good move from any other team that is looking in on the Devils' opportunities here and trying to take advantage? The Devils have a lot of cap space. They've got 4-point-something mil. They could match an offer sheet in the second round pick territory. So I feel like if a team really wanted to try to make the offer sheet successful, they'd have to approach that first and third round pick territory, go over the dollar amount that the Devils have, and entice Mercer to a deal that he's probably not worth, like $6-point-something million or $5.9 million. Is Mercer worth that? Probably not. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think this is worth thinking about? Is he the kind of player that is worth giving this sort of a deal to? Link, as always, is going to be to the description of the video clip with Martin Leclerc, as well as the article that we had pulled that had the quote. That was from HabsFanatics.com, I'm pretty sure. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Dawson Mercer, his place in the New Jersey Devils. Do you think he's got what it takes to bounce back? And if not, would it be okay to lose him out for a first and a third in an offer sheet situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.